And isn't it true, if you and I are honest, that whether it is guardrails to protect your marriage, to protect your workplace and your current occupation, guardrails about your time or understanding authority or money or whatever it is in life, isn't it true that if you and I had had guardrails in place, it could have helped us to avoid some of our greatest disaster? The reality is, if we had had guardrails in place, we could have avoided going off the abyss financially. If we had had guardrails in place, these places of conscience in our heart and our soul, we could have avoided having all that trouble in our marriage. We could have avoided having all those workplace issues with our co-workers where we eventually got fired. We could have avoided some of our greatest regrets in life morally, physically with our bodies, financially, whatever the arena is. It is true that you and I have made our greatest regrets and greatest mistakes at places where we have refused or didn't know we should have or probably need to put in place some guardrails to keep us from danger, to keep us from going over into the abyss and over the edge. So this morning I want to talk to you about establishing those kinds of guardrails in your life. And so I want to invite you, if you have a Bible, or you can look at it on the screen, it's printed on your paper, somehow look at Ephesians chapter 5, and we're going to begin starting in verse 15. Ephesians 5, verse 15. And this is a very cool little book, Ephesians. If you know anything about Ephesians, here's the deal. Paul, who is this apostle guy, right? He's like one of the first founders of the church. He's writing to a group of people in this city called Ephesus. Now, Ephesus is a very cool place because you and I can go and visit Ephesus today. And it used to be this coastal city. And what happened over the decades and centuries is this. The thing that was a coastal town, now all the water's been kind of washed away and now it's more inland, right? But it's a cool town. And this passage was written to a group of people who, if you can imagine it, were living in a culture that was more immoral than our culture, more amoral than our culture. Because here's the thing about guardrails in our culture. Guardrails in our culture tries to put guardrails in place but falls short. Right? I mean, isn't it true that our culture recognizes what's over the abyss? They recognize what's beyond the guardrail. They recognize what the danger is that if we don't establish guardrails, what it leads to. But they are just weak in their messaging and their marketing. Think about it. Haven't you heard these kinds of messages, right? They'll say things like this. With sex, they'll say, just have sex when you're ready. Just wait until you're ready. I mean, can you imagine that conversation, right? Two teenagers, are you ready? Yeah, I think I'm ready. Well, when are you going to be ready? I don't know if I'm ready yet. Okay, when are you going to be ready? 3 weeks. Okay, I'll give you 3 weeks. Okay, when are we ready? I mean, seriously? Wait till you're ready? Messaging? It's weak. Or you think about this. Parents, talk to your kids about drugs. I mean, are you serious? Parents talking to your kids about drugs? What a weak message. I mean, think about it. Parents talk to their kids, well, the kid got into drugs. Well, I talked to him. I mean, we had a conversation about it. I mean, I'm talking to my kid and nothing's happening. It's weak messaging. There are no guardrails. Or in your finances, right? I mean, somebody's having trouble with their finances and they've gone completely over the abyss with their finances. And what does our culture have to say? Just consolidate your debt. Nothing about where those errors were that you originally made the mistake. Nothing about how to save. Nothing about how to financially live a responsible life. But just consolidate your debt.